Hi there, this is Fleming from Customs by Monstiano. First off, I want to thank you for wanting to buy one of these figures from me, so that's pretty cool. What I have here is one of the splinters that I made in the batch. This one I call Whiskers. And you've already seen the previous video where I just kind of show the clamshells, so that kind of goes for all of them. They're all kind of just opened the same way, missing that trim. So what you have here is I'm using the Raphael tray for this one. So you kind of see, if you are familiar with the original releases, this is where the lamppost was going before, and also I reused the bottom part of the lamppost to fit the ooze canister. So I'm kind of just refitting these trays. So this is not like a perfect new tray I did for this one. This is like just one of my old ones that I cut a lot of holes in and re-sculpted with a lot of tape to just like fit the splinter in there nicely. So also there's a hole cut in here that fit his whiskers. So yeah, that's no problem. I'll just show the accessories in a minute. So the figure itself, he comes with a lot of articulation, just kind of the same amount as the original Lego ones. I'm just moving the camera a little bit here. As the original Lego ones. So what you have is let me just, when you get him out of the pack, his tail, whoops, sorry. When you get him out of the pack, his tail will be between his legs, so you just kind of move that backwards and kind of just lift the skirt a little bit and just twist it around, and you have a nice big tail like this. So you have you have head rotation side to side, and you also have a hinge that goes up and down. So the head is like tiny ball joint, so you don't get like tilting action, which is a shame, but you get the other parts. Also, all the brown parts, all the furs, that's sculpted in brown resin, and his tunic is sculpted in the color you see here. So if you get a little bit of paint rub on the joints from moving them, that's no problem, because the joints are also sculpted in the brown color. And the kimono, or the tunic, is not even painted at all, besides the black line. So you should be able to play and post this without it, deteriorating over time. So that's one of the goals here with me, because I post my toys a lot. So also I've been posting all of these, testing them out, using them for various photos to make sure that these were not going to break when you guys got them in hand. And that's one of the things I want to talk about with this one, because as I already mentioned, this one he's the first one that I managed to break one of his joints. So I broke the shoulder joint here because there was a tiny air bubble inside the cast. So what I had to do was, because I cast these joints inside his tunic part. So what I had to do was I had to drill out that joint part that was broken, and I recasted another joint and placed that in instead. So arm is still tight, just you can feel a difference from this one. This needs a little more power to move. This one moves more fluently. Also, you get a little bit of this with this one, and this is tight. So, but don't worry about that. He still poses very, very well. You can hear how he's squeaking because it's tight. And also I had to Dremel a little bit inside this joint here, because I was afraid that if this part didn't move smoothly, that it would be able to break again. So that's why this is a little looser than the other one here. You see, you have to strain a little bit. So also I suggest when you move the arms that you rotate up here, because that then you kind of have the joint between your fingers, and that puts less strain on the joint. So that's his arm, that's his shoulder rotation. So also a little bit difficult to work out with this build was to get the rotation in his biceps in. So there's like the underarms, they peg inside the sleeves. There's a joint inside there, a little hole for them to peg into. So you have rotation inside the sleeves. Also you have double elbows, goes up to this. And you have hinge and swivel in his wrists, so you can get like the kung fu poses and such. Also the other one. His torso has swivel here, and the way I've constructed this is the belt is a cast for itself that is glued to his torso part, so the underskirt just sits below this. So that's why you're able to move this freely. So please make sure that this doesn't get caught up behind this when you move it from side to side. Also you have the tail, as I showed before. This hinges up and down and it rotates all the way around. Now this one, these ones from this batch were cast, the tails were cast in a flexible resin, so this is very flexible. It's really cool. So you can fit him in with more in more tight places, because this has a lot of bend to it. Also, this version has a tail that is a little bit darker, because I kind of was playing around with the texturing of it. So this one, I kind of textured it all the way up. So this is definitely the one that I use the most time on. Sorry. He has legs back and forth, nice and smooth, and you can get some good wide poses. He has double knees. Definitely has more movement in the upper part because of the sculpt, but you also get some in the lower part as well. And you have feet up and down and a little bit of ankle rubbers, so you can get those good wide poses. I really recommend when you pose him that you kind of sit him down and kind of push him against the floor, and then you find the balance point so he can kind of balance himself. That's what's cool about these. I forgot to say you also have some thigh rotation as well, so you can rotate his legs side to side. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so he poses really good. So I wouldn't be afraid of this shoulder. This is just something I want to mention because it sits more tightly than this one. The whiskers here, this is what makes this one special. He is the only one that I made with whiskers, so he's kind of one of a kind. This is something that I really wanted to try because this is so significant on his look in the Mirage comics. But first of all, this took a hell of a lot of time to do, because you have to drill in these tiny holes, and then you have to cut off the whiskers here. This is just brush hair that I've been using, and insert them, and they're just glued shut. So these are not like something that will just break off or bend or anything. These can hold up to a lot of strain. Also, again, as I mentioned, I've been taking a lot of photos of these, so these have really been tested a lot. So I'm pretty confident these will hold up. But that's really cool, and also I think that's really cool because he's kind of special. So just quickly, that's his articulation. So he comes with this thigh piece, just like the original old clamshell ones. Really wanted to include all the pieces that they have. So you see this, just let me get it. This is, once again, I couldn't match the color completely because I have different color ones. So this is a little darker than the old ones, but in certain lightings it looks just the same. So that's pretty cool. Also did all the line works and the small pebbles as well. So the only difference that I changed is with this fire hydrant pegs on, I just made this little piece of crumpled paper to peg on here as well. So if you want to display this with something like this or the lamppost, you can just change it out. So that's pretty good as well. Also these sidewalk parts, not the road parts, they have a tendency to bend a little bit in the middle when you display a figure on it, because there's not really any support in this front part. So what I recommend doing is, if you have the mouse part, you can just kind of click this on, and sorry, can't see what I'm doing here, like this, and then it will just sit nice and snugly there, straight, like this. So that's how it's supposed to work. So let me show you his other accessories really quick. It comes with a cane, and that is sculpted in brown, but I actually ended up painting this in the exact same brown. Let me just get the camera down a little bit, because I didn't get the exact color that I wanted, and I was spending too much time trying to cast this in the correct color. So I just gave up and just painted this, but this looks really good. Let me see if I can get some focus on this, like this. So it has little scuff marks as if he's been fighting some of the foot soldiers. So he can't really hold his cane with his hands, because I don't like those hands that go like this. So when you don't display him with the cane, he just looks like an idiot. So what I did was, I was kind of just going for posing him where he's kind of leaning on it. So both of his hands can just kind of lean on this. So you just, because that is what you kind of would do, like this also, because then you can still like give him the kung fu poses with his hands, not look completely stupid like this. And also I suggest ankling his feet out a little bit and tilting him a little bit forward. That way he will keep his balance the best. So yes, that's that. Okay, and then he comes with the little tiny rat. Let's get that out of the tray. This is again an homage to the old Turtles ones because they came with the mini turtles. So if you had that old set, it looks really cool with the rat displayed there as well. So that's pretty fun. So this is just actually this is a 1/6 scale rat that I kind of cut up and glued together and resculpted this body and just cast those. So I got these kind of fun proportions with a big head and fat body. So yeah, that's why I did that. Yeah, so also his the rat's tail is also casted in light flexible flesh, just like Splinter's tail. So that's a little funny thing. Last up is the ooze canister that is also just a recast of the original one. What I did here is that I kind of cut in this this hole and put some ooze inside, so you can display this with one of these ooze pools here. Have it nice and slimy lying around. So that's pretty cool, especially if you have the turtles or the rat standing in front of it. So I actually have two options for this ooze pool. This one is a little lighter green, and this one is a little more saturated green. But this one, I don't know if the camera can remove this. This one has a tiny little air bubble in the middle. So I'll leave that up to you to choose which one you want. I think I would go for the light green one because it just looks more smooth. Yeah, but you can decide that for yourself. And quickly, a little bit of comparison with some of the original figures. So here you have the Splinter next to the, let me see if I can get the camera moved a little bit up so we can see this bad guy here. Yeah, you know the deal. This is the Shredder from the, I think, 2016 NYC set. The old one showed from the prototype pics back in the days. And also up here, coming from the right, I have Donatello from the old set. So you see he scales pretty well with those guys. He comes in a little shorter than the Turtles, and he comes in a lot shorter than Shredder. Also, that's one of the things that's really cool when you pose him with the other sets, because I took really a lot of attention to making sure that he looks like the other ones, the old ones. So kind of paint job is the same. I didn't go too much overboard with this. Also with the matching packaging and the matching accessories. So that's pretty cool. So that's the Whiskers one. So thanks for watching, and again, congratulations on getting your hands on one of these. I really hope that you enjoy him as much as I have enjoyed making them. So yeah, thank you and goodbye.